Well, Iranian authorities have arrested one of the country's most famous actors after she expressed solidarity with anti-government demonstrators. Taraneh Alidoosti made an online post last week criticizing the state's use of the death penalty against protesters. Dominic Velitis is tracking the story for us from London, and he joins us now. So, Dominic, what more do we know about her arrest?
Well, state media says Taraneh Alidoosti was detained on charges of spreading falsehoods, that's the phrase it's using, about the protest movement, which has rocked Iran over recent weeks and months. And that allegation, Hillary, appears to be focused on comments Alidoosti posted on Instagram last week. Now, in that post, she condemned the execution of Mohsen Shikari, who was hanged earlier this month after being accused of rioting and wounding a member of Iran's paramilitary force. But she also criticized international organizations for not speaking out about the regime's crackdown on the recent unrest, describing those who failed to take action as a disgrace to humanity. Now, Iran's government obviously took great exception to these comments, hence her arrest. And again, according to state media, she has been detained for failing to provide any documents in line with her claims, with what she posted on Instagram last week. We don't know which department of Iran's security services has arrested her. We're told that she was arrested at her home, which was searched, but crucially, we don't know where she's currently being held. And she is just the latest, Hillary, of dozens of artists, journalists and lawyers who've been detained over the past few months for speaking out against the government's crackdown on protesters. Hillary.
And Don, what more do we know about her and her support for these protests?
Well, she is one of Iran's most successful actresses. She's perhaps best known for her part in The Salesman, which won an Academy Award in 2016 for Best International Feature. And we saw her at this year's Cannes Film Festival, where she was a high-profile guest promoting her new film, Layla's Brothers. But since the outbreak of protests in Iran, she has become a high-profile, vocal critic of the government's crackdown. Only last month, she posted an image of herself on social media without a headscarf, carrying a sign reading, "Women, Life, Freedom," which is the main slogan of demonstrators who've been taking to the streets of Iran. But even years before this year's protests began, she had been critical of the Iranian government and its police force. In June 2020, she was even handed a suspended 5-month prison sentence after criticizing the police on Twitter for assaulting a woman who had removed her headscarf. So she is a successful award-winning actor, but also a vocal critic of the Iranian government. Hillary.
Okay, Dom, thank you so much for all of this morning. Dominic Velitis for us reporting in London.